Yo, welcome back to Guy Talks About His Life. Uh, One of my friends told me that I remind them of like Domix. I don't know if that's super common if people still watch like Storytime animators, but he was a big part of my childhood. And he's Filipino. My ethnicity is Islander adjacent, so I can see the connection. And fun fact, Filipinos aren't considered uh, Pacific Islander anymore. They're considered like Asian. So for any college apps out there, but regardless, I still grew up sweaty. I think that that video honestly resonated with me a lot. I got it from my father. My father's a very sweaty guy, and I always remember it being an insecurity. It honestly still is an insecurity today. Like, man, I struggle to sleep. Like, I recently was in SoCal, and I was just at this lodging which had no AC, and I just kept waking up in the middle of the night, just drenched, everything drenched. I've not been like super particular about hydration, but I drink a lot of water. Just in general, I drink a lot of like something. I think I used to drink like milk by like 2 quarts. I think every week, at least. Sometimes upwards of a gallon of milk every week, which some people will say like that's a challenge. Not really, and I think this particularly comes up as like an insecurity when it comes to like dapping people up. Just like giving handshakes, being nervous for interviews, presentations, anything. Like my hands are just so slimy, and I think a better description of it would be clammy. I just always have this general like wetness going on. And fortunately, I don't have super strong BO. For a very long time, I didn't have any BO at all. But now I've gotten a bit older, I've developed like a little bit, and it's not particularly an issue, but my clothes are always not molding, but I have to wash them relatively quickly, or they will, and they're always like wet and soppy. Like compared to anger from In and Out, because In and Out, Inside Out, because when I would be done at like soccer practice and it'd be cold out, my head would be steaming and it looked like my head was on fire. And I guess this has just always been an issue for me. And I at least like beyond like dapping people up and like them being grossed out and like there's just nothing I can do about it. Like I can wipe my hand. I've never really cared about like wiping my hand on my pants or my shirt or anything, and that's never been like a super big issue. I preferred AC environments because then it would be like somewhat controlled. Every time I was nervous, I did it. But all that aside, one day I got a girlfriend, and you know, I think I was in middle school at the time. I know I've talked about it, but I'd never done any of like the physical intimacy stuff with a girl. You know, I don't think I've even like hugged a girl outside of my family at that point. And the first time that we officially like started dating, like I was low-key just like making out with her in like a hammock. And later in life, she wanted to like hold my hand when we went on a walk in the park. And walk in the park, man, I'm a water pool. I'm just, it looks like a water world out there. Like I am dripping, and from just the walk. And people always associated me sweating all the time as like me being out of shape. Like, damn, bro, you're weak. You must be tired. Like, no, I just sweat. With like any physical activity, like any exertion, man. Sometimes when I'm done recording these videos, I will be sweating just from the talking. And she wanted to hold my hand, and I just said no. Like I opened up no, because I knew that my hand was hella slimy, hella clammy, and this was the first time I felt seen. Because she said like, "Oh, I don't care." I'm like, "Oh, fire," and then she held my hand, and like we held hands for a while. A novel experience, and you just keep doing it. And by the time like we went apart, it's like it felt like I was someone had just covered my hand in honey, and I was unsticking it from someone. Like I felt so bad, and she was actually super cool about it. And this has been a problem with every girl that I've ever dated, and they've never said anything about it. But something just tells me that for sure that this has come up in conversation, when your girlfriend talks to you like any other friend that is a girl and just actively talk smack about you. And I'm not disabled. I don't have any like issue. There's not an astigmatism, but there is a description for people whose like hands and feet are like uncannily sweaty. Oh my god. My shoes, man. My shoes smell like you killed someone. I know. I've actually never had foot fungus. contrary to popular belief. I don't know why it took me a year to think of that, but I at like 16, my father gifted me a car, and it was like a $2,000. It's a Honda Accord, and it was used. So just like all the amazing things that you want out of like your first car. I still drive that car to this day, and I would have soccer practice like right after school, and I was driving myself to school, so I'm like I had to put my cleats in my car because I refused to pay $10 for a sports locker because usually varsity like they give you a locker, but I didn't have a locker, and none of us actually had a locker. Like people just change in the locker room and just bring and walk around with their bags at school, or if you were above a certain age, you would just have your bag. Like there was a dugout area, I guess, and people would just like leave their bags there, like no locker. I'm like, I didn't trust that. I left my bag in my car, so I put the bag in my car, and after soccer practice, if you ever played soccer, or if you ever had cleats of any kind, or if you even had shoes of any kind, the smell gets trapped in the sole. Like if you have any wetness, if you have any sweat going on, like it's in the sole of the shoe, like that bottom cushiony part, and when you get it wet, the smell comes out again, and I would come back to my car. I wouldn't notice it when I was in the car driving back from soccer practice. And when I did get back, I would notice it. you know? And it would smell like someone died in my car. And I've had this history of just like not really giving a shit about what it's like in my car, and or what it's like in my room either, because honestly, if you have to go home and you just spent like an 8-hour day at school and then 2 hours at practice, and then you finally get to eat food, and then you have to study for your 4 AP classes and then the honors class, man, I'm not gonna like shower or wash my sheets every single time. Sometimes I just wouldn't shower, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna accept that I'm gonna have a dirty bed. And you might think that I broke out like crazy. Actually, I didn't, because I'm the goat like that. I feel like I just got like good genetics, but yeah, I would just have a dirty bed or just sleep on the floor. I would do that a lot. I just like if I had a clean bed, I would just sleep on the floor after like my practice and shit. So that was the vibe, and my room would smell. Just like that vague, rank smell of sweat. Like unfortunately didn't have VO, but it'd be a little musty in there. And it's better now. I have like the air filter going. I use the fan a lot. Sometimes I leave the fan on when I record. I keep the window open. All the good stuff. Bed's clean. But back when I was like really in the sports season, especially when I had track and soccer, and I get home at 10, and then I'd eat and then study for like an hour and go to bed. That was honestly a very rough time for me. But when I did that, I would just sleep in the dirty bed, honestly, and I would be dirty. Sometimes I wouldn't even wash my face, just go in the bed, and the bed's a little sweaty, and I always like wake up sweaty. So I have been judged a lot for sleeping naked, and it's not like a texture thing, it's not a tactile thing, it's not that I don't like clothes. I just I don't need more heat when I'm sleeping, and I just like sleeping naked. Like now I like sleep in my boxers, like because I live in a room with another person during the majority of the year. But when I'm at home, man, I still sleep naked, and it's most comfortable for me because I wake up with the least sweat on me. And this hasn't been an issue for a very long time until I got a girlfriend, and I was past 18. So you do certain things with your girlfriend, and we sleep in a bed together sometimes. And it was nice that we were in the bed together, but it was miserable for me because I'm hot as a bitch, and I'm turning the blanket, like the covers, into a sauna, and like I want to get out of the covers, and I try to like sneakily get out of the covers, and she pulls me back in, and I'm like, this is miserable. And it got to a point where like we made an agreement where I cuddle her and she falls asleep, and then I sneak out of the covers so I can fall asleep. Because I don't know if you know this about sleep, but it needs to be chill. Now, you need to... sleeping in a hot environment sucks. You're not going to have quality sleep. It's all bad. Like, you need a cool, dark, quiet environment to have like a restful, good, ideal sleep. And that's what was going on for me. So yeah, that was honestly, I don't have anything else there. It's just like, I think I told my mom, I don't think I'm destined to sleep in a bed with a woman, and then she immediately thought that I meant that I was coming out as gay, which is not what I meant. But it was just because I can't fall asleep with somebody else in the bed. Or like if we share the covers, I just get way too hot. I'm just like a sauna. And you know what? She actually liked this about me because she ran cold, so she was always like, "Oh, I could like hold your hand and it'll be warm," or you like radiate heat, and like that was a cool thing to like be on the couch and radiate heat. But yeah, it's not just like I'm a really sweaty person. I just run hot, and a lot of this has to do with my metabolism. I've had a fast metabolism because I've been a fast kid, and I just sweat a lot because of it. And now I don't exercise as much, so my metabolism has slowed down. I told my body that I don't need to be active anymore, so I've been able to finally put on some weight. But yeah, that's just been the life of someone who's sweaty. So that's about it. I don't really know what this was. It was an event. I just like got reminded of Domix, and I was like, I should make my own video complaining about being sweaty. And oh yeah, gray shirts. That's a no. No gray shirts. I think my entire wardrobe is like black and blue, and I actually have unlocked some brown colors, like I put some brown, some tan, some white, but they have to be worn with the wife beater and the antiperspirant deodorant that my dad has gifted to me. You know, father to son, sweaty man to now another sweaty man, because I'm almost a full grown man. You know, I'm on my way. It's like between 25 and 31, I think, is when your brain is done developing. So I'm getting close, you know what I'm saying? But it's almost over for me. And yeah, that's my life as somebody who's just wet a lot. I think it's a Pacific Islander. And yeah, that's it. Bye.